maybe ChatGPT had to start this.
Oh, well, I mean, you could do that if you want. But it's more like, why don't we just do a quick introduction?
All right,
Who
go
are
ahead.
we?
Who are we? What are we doing?
I'm Laz.
I'm Justin.
How's it going, guys? We're here, well, let's just say we're in time of life, right?
Time of life.
I don't know, one of those as they call it, mid-age things.
I hope it's mid-age. I got a few more years.
Yeah, well, anyway, lots
Wait, how
going.
old are you?
Do we have to divulge that? We're in the 50s. How about that?
50s. Jesus.
What do you mean she's...
I'm 29, so.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Well, the way I look at this is, why are we doing this? We're here to chat about AI.
Yeah.
I mean, we're living in an exciting time where technology is moving quite at a rapid speed, and what you thought at one time, or at least I'm going back now. This is our mid-age podcast.
Mid-age podcast.
Imagine that.
Speak for
saying that.
yourself.
No, stop it. No, just when I'm thinking back now, the introduction of the internet and how fast that's come along and how we're moving at such rapid speeds. This AI is a quite interesting technology in which I mean they're introducing it at rapid speeds, and I don't know about you, but I've been using it. How about that?
I literally used ChatGPT and Midjourney and what's the other one? The one that does video. I use it almost every day
The video one?
for everything.
Look it
It's
up.
called Runway. It's
Oh
called
yeah, Runway. Yeah.
Um,
Well, ChatGPT, yeah, that was introduced. I believe ChatGPT one was 2019. Let's.
hold on, I'm going to back up. Let's say when was the internet introduced? Because I feel like it was a long time ago.
That long? We were in the
Oh,
crib.
I remember,
Were we in the crib?
I remember AOL. Like you had to get the floppy disk and install AOL, and then it had all the boop, beep, shh.
Oh yeah. You're bringing me back now. That shh.
However, like the history of it,
And then it would be this spiral.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it would be like, welcome, you got mail.
And you would be like, yes.
Yeah, mail, cool.
I've connected.
But then nobody else could use the phone in the room.
True.
No one, or in the house, you couldn't. No one else could like pick up the phone because they would just hear the.
Oh
They
yes,
would
the
hear,
dial-in.
yeah, they would hear the computer talking to the other computer.
My goodness, that feels like so long ago.
Yeah.
But yet, not really.
So I just used ChatGPT to tell us what the history of the internet was.
How quick was that?
1969, funded by the U.S. Department of Defense, of course.
Always starts there.
Marking the birth of the technology that would eventually become the internet. So they've been trying to talk to computers over the wires for a long time, but I guess it wasn't until the early 90s that like it was accessible by normal.
Well, that's what I remember. Wasn't it Al Gore? Somebody.
Al Gore, yeah, probably.
There's a connection to him with the internet. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why he came to mind, but
What is Al Gore's
connection to internet.
Connection.
Let's look it up.
To internet. I said Al's. It's gonna be Al's French fries.
You
Hold
got to
on.
be specific,
What
right?
is Al Gore's connection?
Prompting is important,
to
Justin.
the
Prompt it right.
internet? You don't even have to spell shit right. Stuff right. We shouldn't swear.
No, let's not show.
Al Gore, former U.S. president, is often credited with helping popularize the internet. His connection isn't about inventing the internet itself, but about strongly supporting and advocating for its development. Oh, so he wasn't like inventing this shit. He was just like,
Well,
we
he
should
was
do
out.
this.
I guess he was one of those out there advocating for the use of it. I believe, but again,
Oh, he helped the High Performance Computing Act of 1991. It was a Gore bill.
yeah, I guess that's where I recall some of that during the Clinton era.
I remember the catchphrases, and it says right here, the information superhighway.
Oh yes, oh
You could-
absolutely.
yeah, I remember hearing that a lot.
Remember Netscape?
I remember Netscape.
Oh.
They tried to defund, or they tried to debunk. What was the other one?
No, there was a
Microsoft, Netscape, and
Well, you had Microsoft.
Microsoft something. Oh, God, I got to use chat. We have to use ChatGPT the whole time we do this.
I think it'll make it a lot easier, won't it?
That just makes me feel dumb.
Nah, it's a tool. Just
What
use it. Make it
were
quick.
the first browsers?
Why ponder? Why search for that? Just boom. Make it quick.
Well, you got to fill in the time between it, though. Now we're just be sitting here waiting for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, again.
Nexus,
Oh, Nexus. Remember Napster?
Napster,
Yep.
Line
was-
mode browser. I never heard of that before.
And then that began. I remember Google's inception into the market. Yahoo,
Yeah,
AOL, as you mentioned.
yeah,
Um,
Netscape.
And a lot of these at the time in the late 90s, early 2000s, I recall these organizations having, they were just imploding in terms of market growth. And then there was a boom. Wasn't there a boom somewhere where a lot of these companies started to go south? It usually is, right?
What do they call that? The something bubble?
The tech bubble or
tech
something?
bubble. But do you remember? Yeah, so Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator, Mosaic. I don't think I ever used Mosaic, but I definitely used Internet Explorer. The tech bubble, yeah.
Yeah, the tech bubble. I recall that Y2K. Boy, these are phrases now that are starting to recollect the anxiety in our communities. Remember that? The Y2K, the big change.
I remember Y2K, and as a kid, I was always kind of an anarchist. So I was hoping for the end of the world.
Oh no, were you? I was just.
I was kind of lame.
Are you falling for that? I mean, how long has it been going on, that story?
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
But
the mid 90s was the rise of increasing adoption of the internet. 95 to 2000 was the peak. In March 10th, 2000, the bubble burst. The NASDAQ reached an all-time high of 5,000.
There it is.
48.62. Investors began realizing that many the dot-com companies lacked substantial business models or profits. So they called it the dot-com bubble too, didn't they?
So what does that say to you? It says, wait a minute, at the time it was speculation, right? So there was money just pouring into these companies.
Well, yeah, I mean,
right?
even today with Twitter and X, they had never made any money.
Well,
they never made any profits, I should say.
Let it sink in, right?
And then someone bought it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about the dot-com bubble and the AI potential bubble is the same thing, because now we have the semiconductor race, AMD, NVIDIA, and it's already popped because the tariff thing, but you don't like talking about tariffs, but
well,
we've had tariffs, and now these AMD, NVIDIA companies, I mean, the whole market kind of went down. But
yeah, I mean, how does it relate? I mean, we're relevant, right? We're here, and the tariffs have just kicked in and paused, just as we're here today. Talking.
What day is it today? April 10th, 2025.
Yeah, so
a pause.
Yeah. But at this, the chip makers, I mean, this is affecting everyone, but at the same time, this is the tech industry in terms of the AI, there's no slowing down. There's no slowing down. I mean, there's a race going on here in terms of the Western world, the other part of our world, seeking a dominance on this, especially the U.S. right now, right?
Yeah.
Taking in a lot of investment, which is exciting to see. But where is it going to lead us? Who knows?
And
right?
it's I guess my understanding is that it's the computing power for AI is what these chips are for.
Yes. Well, they're building these data centers too, right?
The data centers.
Right, down in, I believe, Texas is what I...
What's a good prompt to ask? Like, what is this all about? What is the AI... we got to ask ChatGPT about this.
Oh, boy, here we go.
What is the AI
this is what it's all
chip
about.
competition?
Yeah.
All about... And then we had that introduction of the Chinese model, which was called...
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek.
Yeah.
And why was that such a...
What is it, Grok? What's Elon's?
Grok.
Grok, something like that. 3. Oh, boy, we better look it up.
Well, this is the beauty of this thing.
Oh, that's the thing.
And I happened to jump on ChatGPT because it was one of the first well-known ones, and I ended up getting a subscription. So now I'm just kind of stuck in it, and I tried the Google one. I didn't really like the Google one.
Well, there are different versions of it.
Gemini.
Right? Gemini, Microsoft's Gemini.
Yeah, Google. I got to be honest about Google's stuff. they're very powerful and they're very good tools. But every time I try to figure out the Google stuff, it's so complicated. It's like obviously written by engineers. Where
Yeah,
ChatGPT is like one little window. So my little pea brain's like, one little window.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Simplicity and how the when you're looking it up, how the information is brought to you. You got to double check it, right? Make sure
Yeah,
prompting
100%.
right, but it's unbelievable. When I think of this, I just think of back when I was a kid. I would grab encyclopedias, right? Go to the,
Such a nerd.
go to the go to the library.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Britannica, that's it, right?
Why was it Britannica? Is that because the British took over the world?
I have. It's a very good question. I never knew. I never asked. I just accepted. I remember getting a collection of these. My brother used to get something like that, a yearly subscription.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
We still have a lot of these books, believe it or not.
And what didn't they do door-to-door sales with that?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
The original AI.
Yes. There was
So we had to sit there with a damn heavy-ass book.
well, again, that's the difference, right? It's all of this instead of picking up a book. I still like that feel.
Yeah, and they had cool like pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, then I think of like National Geographic's
Oh,
collection. That's incredible.
National Geographic was the coolest.
I mean, it just
It still is the cool. I got my kid a subscription to that.
you did
Yeah, because it is good to have the pictures and stuff.
right, exactly the feeling of it,
The photography.
the photography. Yeah, it's phenomenal. But yeah, is it easier to ask our friend here, chat?
Well, wait a minute. We got to go back and what is this competition all about? The AI chip competition refers to the intense race among technology companies to develop and dominate the market for specialized processors designed to handle artificial intelligent workloads. So yeah, it was what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I mean, according to ChatGPT.
you can accept that.
Well, you can ask it. How confident are you? How confident are you in this answer? Oh man, I didn't read the whole answer, but we're just gonna ask it anyways. I'm highly confident in this answer, and it shows a bunch of sources up here. I guess I should have looked at that, which is nice. Yeah, so it crawled a bunch of different websites. It crawled a lot of websites.
They've got millions of subscribers, right?
Yeah.
At this point, it's got to
Oh,
be. It's
yeah.
got to be large.
I don't know if they're making money or if they're just building these tech centers for the future.
Just like everything else, I mean,
data centers.
it takes a lot of capital. It's capital intensive, right? In the beginning, to get it to where we need to be.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, they got to cool down these freaking warehouses full of.
The data centers, yes. I keep trying to think about what they have water. I mean, there's water, cooling systems that have water running through these. I have no idea what they look like, but that's what I envision is how else are you going to keep them cool? Standard temperature, like cooling temperatures. That's interesting. I never even bothered to look up any of that stuff, but they're building them right now. They're very expensive. There's a design, the designs out there for them. What they're building today, are they going to modify tomorrow? Yes.
Oh yeah. Hopefully
Absolutely.
they're making it like modular, so they can pull out. Oh, this processor's old. They pull that out.
Oh
put
yeah,
a new
that's a
one.
very good point. Yeah.
And same with the hard drives too.
Yeah, I mean, you have that whole. There seems to be a tremendous amount of energy that's needed to run these centers. So, so I think there's a lot of upgrades, infrastructure that's going to be taking place or has to take place in the U.S. to support these. But the more subscribers, the more people that are using this brain power. I mean, it's the energy's being extracted. Think about it. How much? I wonder how much energy you ever think about when they say you cut trees down when you use papers. How many trees are you using?
Oh yeah.
That whole. I wonder how much energy we're using. Just
I've seen this quote on.
You
Facebook.
have? Okay, let's just curious.
What is the question? The question is
how much energy is being used?
how much energy is being used for any AI platform
inquiry or
like Chat GPT. We just, I mean, I guess we should step back a little bit before we get into all this stuff and just talk about
Well, how are we using it?
how we're using it and why is it important?
why
The hell are we doing this podcast?
I mean, really. I mean, the whole idea is that I think we're not alone, right? Or I began using this about a year ago. I consider it a assistant, a tool.
Yeah.
it consolidates a lot of time in terms of if I'm doing any type of editorial writing, in terms of graphics. It's a quick way to consolidate. And being that I know what I'm looking for and prompts it, it's an
Yeah.
amazing tool where a lot of time is saved and you can become a lot more efficient, I think.
A lot of
You
time
know?
is saved.
I mean, I typed the other day what ingredients to use to make some chicken
Yeah.
soup or something like that. And it just boom, boom, boom gave me a bunch of things. I was like, all right, I know what
Well,
ingredients it needs, but hey,
yeah.
it was quick.
It was quick.
It was quick.
It
It
because
tells
if you Google this stuff, you get those stupid recipe pages, and it's got the person's entire life story before they get to the recipe. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
I hate that.
Well,
Well, but however, I will say that I use ChatGPT often for recipes, and they gave me this recipe for the my wife has one of those pressure cooker things,
right.
and so I'm like, oh, I got a pressure cooker. Tell me a good pressure cooker
Yeah.
for a whole chicken,
Right.
and it gave me this recipe,
Yeah.
and the whole thing just exploded. Like the whole chicken was just mutilated.
Yeah, what happened?
It ruined dinner, and I was already in a bad mood.
You
and
followed
they-
instructions
and I
it
pulled
blew,
it out, and it
blew
was
the
just like
chicken
it
up?
was just like bones coming out. I mean, it just totally disintegrated the thing.
Did you check with ChatGPT why my chicken blew
It
up?
wasn't very confident in that chicken recipe. So
Okay.
things can go wrong.
Okay,
with
I guess
ChatGPT. It ruined our whole night.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I was like, "What the hell is this?"
listen, I tried it a couple of times,
And
but
it tasted like it was not. I mean, I've had some successful ones,
right.
but this was a fail.
Well, that's an interesting use. I think.
So we got to go back to now that we have the
What do you got?
energy usage.
Oh,
Significant energy usage, high energy demand, training large language models like ChatGPT is energy intensive. For instance, ChatGPT 3 consumed approximately 552 metric tons of CO2, the equivalent emissions to 123 gasoline-powered passenger vehicles driven for 1 year.
wow. That's a lot of energy. Oh
That's
boy.
a lot of energy.
I don't know. I'm not, and this is what fascinates me. As much as I don't know, you do know that there's an infrastructure that's needed to probably not only to be built but upgraded to support this type of energy use.
123 gasoline-powered passenger vehicles for 1 year. A year of 123 people driving around to develop one large language version. And they're on version 4.5, so they've done this 4.5 times.
How many cars is that? Four.
I mean, growing up,
It's like
like as a
600-700
kid, like
cars.
driving your bike around and just, being in the 80s and 90s, I always think of things in terms of horsepower.
Right.
Because it's very literal, like, oh, 1 horse is 1 horsepower.
True. One horse running.
How many horsepower are we talking here? Let's see if it'll convert it.
Oh, what a great question. How many horses?
Convert this energy usage into horsepower. This is a dumb question, but I think
Why not?
like all
Ask
the
it.
engineers out there are gonna be like, there's no equivalent to that. But let's try it. So now it's analyzing. It's like, why this is the dumbest question that I've ever heard of.
But let's see. That's the whole point.
Now we've wasted not only my time, but your time and everyone watching's time.
Oh, sorry about that, folks. Sometimes, hey,
Oh, here it's popping up.
oh, it thought. How much energy did that require?
Wait, the energy usage per ChatGPT query, approximately 4 watt hours, converts to roughly 0.00536 horsepower hours. Wait a minute. So
We got it.
so how many horsepower? See, this is why the ChatGPT is complicated.
Going down the
because-
rabbit hole.
I asked it to convert the high energy demand into horsepower, and then it assumed that I was asking per inquiry.
Did you ask it right?
So I don't think I asked it right. So how many
It's about that
Horsepower.
prompting.
to develop a version like Chat GPT 3.0? Or what is it on now? 4.5.
Yeah. Rapid speed.
So now
Think of
we're going to dumb it down to
132 passenger cars.
That's a lot.
4 times, as you said, 4.5 times.
Oh, it's working.
Oh.
Training phase, blah, blah, blah.
What do we got?
ChatGPT training. Just give me an answer, pal. Applying these conversions, this means ChatGPT required approximately 1.43 million horsepower hours.
That's a lot. It sounds like a lot.
Is
As
that-
some engineer will probably say, it's not a lot, but
What's
hey,
a horsepower hour?
it just sounds extraordinary.
And
Well,
this conversion isn't working.
But look, well, it probably will, but we're not.
Like, are we talking like, are we talking like, if we're going to put it in terms of cars, are we talking like,
Let's just
like a Ferrari, like how many Ferraris would it take to
well, now
power
we're doing
ChatGPT?
conversions now. Well, let's put a VW in there. Let's keep going
No.
different cars.
Anyways.
I don't know. I think it's a tremendous amount of energy, right? So
Right,
to guys like us, everyday people, it sounds like a lot. It's expensive,
It's
right?
expensive.
I saw that broadcast, $500 million.
So what are we trying to do though?
Right.
What is the whole point of this? Like, what's the whole point of a ChatGPT? Like, what are these guys trying to sell us? I mean, they're selling us a monthly subscription to make our life easy, but it's also replacing a lot of stuff. Like, people are losing jobs. Who the hell's going to buy this if everyone is replaced by robots?
Well, that's the big that seems to be the hot topic lately. Everywhere you hear and listen is the replacement of jobs and what's the future. I think it's just when the internet was introduced or any other technologies when the car was first introduced and all these introductions I'm sure had some kind of there was a time of transition where the population took some time to accept it or assimilate to it or adapt to it and make it part of their everyday life. And I think if instead of looking at it's going to replace it, how can it enhance it? I mean, think of all the manufacturing jobs, right? So they're saying they're going to create tons of manufacturing jobs. That seems to be the branding of this administration starting this year. We're gonna create a lot of manufacturing jobs. Well, AI, I'm sure, is going to be involved in a lot of that.
Right.
To streamline it, to create, to control costs.
Yep.
To run this type of technology, but there's got to be someone there to run these models or machines or whatever it may be. It may be that, again, is there replacements of jobs? Yes, there are going to be folks that are probably going to have to reskill.
Yeah.
Lots of folks, lots of
Truck drivers.
Well, again, self-driving vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to have self-driving transportation or hauling equipment without an individual behind the wheel? I mean, will it reduce accidents in any way? I mean, you should ask how many accidents occur, behind the wheel at nights, asleep and things like that, versus a robotic
taxi driver
that would reduce that type of
Yeah. Here we go. I ChatGPT'd. We gotta come up with a shorter term. I ChatGPT'd. We gotta invent something like
GBT. GBT.
I roboted it.
GBT.
I GPT'd.
GBT'd.
GPT'd.
GBT'd.
I GPT'd this morning.
Yeah.
Administrative.
How many GBTs did you have this morning?
The most jobs at risk: administrative and clerical jobs like receptionists, data entry clerks, and administrative assistants.
Okay, well, it makes sense, right?
Makes sense.
Customer service,
Manufacturer,
emails,
right?
email.
Yeah,
something that it's a repetitive and.
I mean, the chat bots that are on these, like, I got to call AT&T, my phone's not working right or whatever.
Right.
You talk to these chat GPTs, it's so annoying.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I don't think it's there yet.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Manufacturing and assembly, customer service and support
when
for
it works,
call
it
service
works.
agents, transportation, logistics, truck drivers, delivery drivers, taxi drivers, financial sector. Well, they're bank tellers, bookkeepers, entry-level accountants.
Well, that was
insurance claim processors.
Remember when the ATM machine was first introduced? That piece of technology?
Yeah.
Right? The ATM, take up this piece of card. And
automatic teller machine.
Automatic, right?
Still better than a regular teller.
Oh, come on.
I guess it depends on the bank you go to.
Again,
I'm just kidding.
If you want to interact, some folks prefer to do a quick transaction. It's easy to work with
Right,
a
right.
robotic.
It's not bank's not open.
Put your
I don't
code
want to get out of
in.
my car.
Give me my money.
Right.
Don't ask me any questions, and please don't upsell me. So-
Media and creative production, basic content writing, stock photography, simple graphics design, legal and paralegal roles. I mean, thank God.
Legal and paralegal roles. Thank God.
Thank God, no more lawyers. You just
Oh
type it-
no, we can't live without them.
Oh, geez. Yeah, they just, hey, fix it up for me. Jobs likely to be evolved or augmented. Healthcare, education. Well, education is
Hel-
freaking obvious.
Yeah. Well, again, education. Think about it. Such a great is the
We're
future.
gonna piss off every single
what-
person that's
Think
listening to
about this. Well, no. We're not here to. We're here to enlighten, right?
Right, we're here to
We're just here to ask questions.
we're here to ask. We're here to learn.
We're living in it, Justin. We're living in it.
Jobs at jobs least at risk. Artists and filmmakers. Well, that's not something I would have said.
Artists and filmmakers.
Yeah, why?
Well-
I mean, is this stuff does?
Well, creativity, right? I mean,
creativity.
if you put, don't you know a little bit about that yourself?
Yeah, that's
Graphics.
why I'm doing podcast and stuff because my job's gone.
Well, not really, not yet.
I guess someone has to somebody has to prompt it. Write me a movie about what is it you want the movie about. So it doesn't know what the movie's about.
No, it can't think on its own. It has
Right.
to be prompted.
Right.
That's the whole idea. I mean,
Um,
it'll think on its own once it's prompted, but
right.
to a certain extent.
Why certain jobs are vulnerable? Repetitive tasks, structured data, cost reduction. And here's a very short list of new opportunities: AI developers and engineers,
Of course.
data analysts,
Analysts,
data scientists,
scientists,
AI ethics
ethics,
specialists.
keep it in order. Let's put some
we should
le-
be AI philosophers.
I think that's what we're doing.
Cool.
We're just philosophizing.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Cybersecurity
Look it up.
specialist. Well, that's a good thing. All right. Well, I should go to school for that.
Cybersecurity?
Am I too old to go back to school?
Never. ChatGPT will make it easy for you.
Robotic technicians. All right.
And you were talking about going to school. Remember when you had to attend a class, you had to sit in a room,
Mm,
and then years later, the internet says no, not necessary.
yeah.
You could stay home, do an online course.
Yeah.
Then an online course said, hey, not only can you get a course, but now you can get a certificate.
Mm,
And then that became more popular, and
Yeah.
that you could get an education. So here we are in the age of AI, where I think this is just a continuance that at some point will classrooms really be needed? Large brick and mortar buildings all over the
It must
country.
be on like a visor. I gotta.
Ah.
I'm sitting by the beach. I gotta go do my class. Bloop.
Well,
And you can pick what you want your classroom to look like.
true. That's
You're on the beach and you're like, I want my classroom to look like I'm on the beach.
I don't know about that. Will you really be paying attention? The fact that you know that
You don't even have
in
to.
reality, you know that you're sitting on a beach, but you're about to take your physics course and you put it on. I don't know.
I want those.
Some
I
people
want
can do
those
that.
Apple goggles. If they weren't so much money, I'd buy an Apple goggle.
Well, again, how old are they? How long have they been around?
A couple of years now. It's got to be at least a year. At least a year.
Give them more time.
That was ahead of its time.
A lot of this
That's really
is-
cool.
you like that.
Because you can put all your computer screens up, and then you can just like for me, as an editing person, like a video editor,
Right.
more screens is better. And then if you can make them different sizes and pick which one you want to have big,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Sure. So you're using the technology.
I would love to.
Well,
I could find a lot of good uses for that technology.
Well, again, it depends on what I'm in the finance background, right? So someone may ask me a question based on my expertise and give them an answer, but truthfully, can they go to this ChatGPT and
Yeah.
ask the same question
Mm,
and keep asking it and get a lot more information within a minute's worth of time versus a minute worth of time my time? Probably.
yeah.
I couldn't possibly spit out that much information
Right.
all at once.
Well, I think
So
for me, I think AI kind of gives you a level of confidence that you probably didn't have before, so that you could speak to things better.
yeah.
So in real life, so you could do your homework much faster. But then you
Well,
would feel better about it instead of just doing
that's where
blindly doing
I've had a
things.
problem with that, and I know it makes it easier. I think of Cliff Notes when I was young. When
Oh, I love Cliff Notes.
the Cliff Notes, when I remember in English class, a couple of the Crucible and Arthur Miller and Great Gatsby, and they're coming
Oh,
back
good.
to me
Yeah.
now. Anyway, I remember picking up Cliff Notes at that
White
time,
Fang. Oh no.
and I felt guilty at the
That's it.
time reading the Cliff Note version,
Yeah.
but it really gave me a quick insight and answer
Yeah.
of what I was looking for, the theme. What
But you
exact,
didn't get to experience the book.
I didn't get exactly. I did not get to
Right.
experience the book. So it's
Right.
so well said that
Yeah.
maybe if I read the whole book at
Yeah.
the time instead of not just picking up those cliff notes, I did end up reading it. But I do remember the feeling that I did know the concept of what was the purpose of the story. But then at the same time, I said
You didn't know the story.
I didn't know. I didn't know every. I didn't crisp through each of those
And
pages.
there
right?
lies the rub.
I hope my English teacher's not listening.
And that does lie. That is where it. That is probably the core of that.
So was I
You don't know
do
the story.
so if you're at home now and you're ready to write a thesis or a paper, whatever it may be, is it
Right.
I don't even know if the proper word is fair, but
Fulfilling.
fulfilling.
Is it fulfilling?
I like that. Is it
'Cause,
fulfilling?
I mean, I feel like education can be viewed as
I think it has to be absorbing. It has to be exciting. It has to be
yeah.
interesting.
And people are just getting education so they can get a job. So it's more like it's been gamified, or it's been
tasked. Tasked.
yeah, it's
Like
been
it's tasked. Let's just complete the task and move on.
It is what it is now is not what it should be. Education should be about enriching yourself, and in certain aspects, you're trying to learn how to do things to survive life. But in other aspects, like with English class, not reading the book and experiencing the book versus just getting the cliff notes,
Yeah.
just so you can get the number, you can get a degree, so you can get a job, versus am I a more enlightened person because I was able to experience this book and then understand what was enlightening about that?
I personally think, and this is interesting because we're at that midlife, right? That we're at that mid age thing that we're observing it. We're using
Hopefully
this
mid-age.
well, we're using the technology,
Yeah.
but then I'm all for still having that crispy book around.
Oh yeah.
I'm all for
Yeah.
still having those nostalgic
Mhm.
those documents the backup, if they want to call it that, or
Right.
but because there's nothing like it. I think of a record, the music industry
Mm-hmm.
when the vinyls went to what was it?
CD.
CD,
Oh, cassette tape.
cassette, and it was the 8 tracks first, right?
Oh, 8-track,
Yeah, yeah.
cassette, CD.
But there was vinyl too during that time.
Vinyl was
Vinyl's been
first.
around for a while.
Yeah, vinyl
right?
first.
And then they went to technology. They said, "Oh, let's just make it easier." Napster, right? That was the big thing. Download.
LimeWire.
Download all of this music,
Yeah.
right? You said, "Oh, this is great. I can have thousands of songs in my
Yeah.
catalog."
Yeah.
But do you have the ownership of all those albums, as they say?
Mm-mm.
The feeling of owning and opening it up, and
The
and
artwork, the
artwork,
lyrics.
the thought that went
Yeah.
behind it,
Mhm.
the time. It just there's something about it. And today, now look at it. It made a tremendous comeback. And
Yeah.
people still sought after that, but yet have the technology to download and consolidate and have micro devices on them that they could just listen to music by satellite internet.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting because I think the availability of music so widespread, and it's just so easy to lift up and listen to a song. It kind of deludes the music industry a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but I think that because there's so much of it now, because it's so cheap and easy to do now, that you don't take a chance. And like if you go and you spend $20 on an album,
Yeah.
you're gonna sit and listen to it because you just spent the money. Like I spent the money.
Yes.
You're gonna listen to it probably intently
Yes.
versus like this doesn't interest me in 5 seconds. I'm gonna skip and go to the next one.
True.
So there is a level of respect that is probably lost.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, even the
I don't know. That's it. I think I'm somewhere with that. But
well,
not quite right.
not to get too heavy in music, but even the artists themselves. I think
Yeah.
if we go back to just a couple of decades, they took the time out to create their best masterpiece in
Yeah.
12 songs, 10 songs.
Yeah.
And none of them were, at the time, I think of the 70s, 2 or 3 minutes was, yes, probably what the commercial side wanted, but these artists are saying no, 5-10 minutes on some of these songs. And again, that it none of that. There was no ChatGPT. This is this natural artistic ability,
Yeah.
right, that created these wonderful compose. When you're depending what music, whether you're rock and roll, jazz, and it goes on and on. But
Right.
would I want ChatGPT to create a new version of one of these masterpieces? It would be interesting to hear, but at the same time, though, it's not the true artist. It's
Right.
not the artist themselves. It's like copying in some sort of way
Yeah.
and
It's
manipulating it. And I don't know. I think it loses something at some point.
I think so
You
too.
know?
I think what I've discovered in like script writing or creative writing
Yeah.
is that you have to do a lot of work internally to make sure things are working properly.
Yeah.
So like when I'm working on a character for a book or a character for a script, a lot of the decisions that you make, that the character makes,
Yeah.
you have to kind of run through it in your mind. Like,
Uh-huh.
would this person do this? Would this character do this?
But isn't
And
that the
why they
beauty
do
of it?
that? And why? But then ChatGPT or these models can just do it, and the person involved in the creation process doesn't have to do that work. So you can get quickly lost in a plot. You can get quickly lost in a character. So you just have like these shells of characters that are just like, they look like real characters and maybe they act like real characters, but they don't have the depth behind them and the thoughts that have gone into making that thing real.
Right.
So now when you can tell. I think I feel like I can pick out a few movies that I'm like, okay, that was written by AI because this has no depth and no character. It's just this cheesy, like, plasticky,
Light, shallow,
shallowness to
but you
it.
could poke right through it. It doesn't have the
Yeah,
depth,
right.
which the human side provides, right?
Yeah, see, like the it's just a cutout.
Yeah. No, well, we're still at a lot of the beginnings of this technology. It's quite amazing what it can do. But
Now that we
I
just said
completely,
this,
can appreciate what you're saying. The amount of thought that goes into it, the creation.
well, it's not thought; it's work.
Well,
It's work.
I mean,
It's thought, but
It's a love.
It's a lot of work that goes into the artistry of any kind of art. Painting, writing, photography, filmmaking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of internal work that has to be done before you see the end picture. It's not just like generate me a portrait of this woman that's almost smiling, so it looks like she's animated.
yeah. Well,
Like, how long
it's
did it take him to come up with that?
artificial.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of this is artificial. So I think what we're saying, or at least I'd like to think now as I hear you say this, is there's going to be a side of this industry that's not going to be removed, even though AI is going to come and replace and do all of these additives quickly,
Yeah.
efficiently, and save time and everyone's save money.
Money.
Can we make it efficient and save money? Right? From these processes, I think that what you're saying is your type of folk is not going away. We need you.
I don't think
Justin.
so.
Your creativity. Well, it just.
I hope not.
I
But
mean,
I don't think
you
so.
could ask GBT to do what it does and gives you what in any of the visual applications. What is it? Which one you're using? You said the Mid Journey.
Midjourney
Yeah.
is the image generation.
Yeah, the image generation. So again, it's a way if you want to, instead of can't think of a better phrase, spit out
Right.
1 per hour, you can do 10 per hour kind of thing.
Right.
It's
Right.
just where's the creativity behind that? Again, I think you said it. It'll lose its depth after a while. After a while, it looks like it's just copy after copy or template, and
Right.
with no depth behind it. And even you as an artist can recognize that as you see it.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it now, but I was like, I should write them down. Next time I feel that way, I'm gonna write that down and dive into it.
Well, it's your journey through
I mean,
this.
the other thing with ChatGPT too is no two people can get the same results. I think because you have a lot of, as a individual, you have your own knowledge base. So like for me, if I'm creating something on Midjourney, I'll even say what kind of lens I want it to be on,
Yeah.
and then I want to add, cinematic lighting with this kind of filter or blah blah blah. and what it does is it'll search for that kind of information.
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to ask that, like, oh, maybe not everybody knows what a wide angle lens focal length is. You know, I want to say I want it on a 24 millimeter lens.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to frame it correctly. So there's that. I mean, at least we have that little edge. It's like we know what it should be.
Again,
versus it's like, you know, somebody that has no clue on how to generate something.
Right.
Like, this make me something cool versus like, this is what might make it cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's somebody entering the market using the technology versus yourself, who's someone who entered in the market without using this technology to create and work hard.
Yeah.
And now it just enhancing your efficiency. To me, that's what I'm looking at. This tool, this wonderful tool that you're using, or that we both use on a day-to-day basis. How it could be. How can it make my day a little bit easier? I think if you just keep it like that, you're in charge of the tool, Justin, because that's the big thing.
Well, hopefully
you're in charge.
Hopefully,
it's not in charge of you.
I think
you take.
There's a risk that we're not in charge of it, and they're just learning how we're thinking.
Well, that's a lot, and I think it's really sad. I'm going to say that I think it's really simple for everyone listening out there. We are the creators of this.
For now. I feel like the more I use, I mean, I'm
remember,
using.
We are the ones who created this. We're the ones who human beings are the ones who created.
Sam Altman, or whatever the hell his name is.
Well, so you got all this. What was it? This 6 owners and 5 engineers or something. The original non-for-profit formed in 2015. Mm-hmm. 2 notable names, quick as was Sam Altman and Elon Musk. Right. So that was the non-for-profit that was formed back then.
And what are they learning from us?
What are they learning from us?
We are not the we are the material. They're trying to figure out how to make these robots work, and they need people.
Is that the AGI? I got to look up more of this stuff. But I think that the robotics. Yeah, that's.
I think we are the product because we're telling it. Every time I get into a ChatGPT and I'm like, this isn't working right, I tell it how to fix it.
Well,
so now it just learns something.
It's learning. It's constantly learning. Like we're constantly learning.
So there is a free model. You know, the whatever 3.0 is free,
right?
And it's free because they're learning from people.
Well, yeah, they continue to. The more you ask, right, the more it absorbs and thinks, and then I guess from a basic sense, it's building data.
It's building data.
It's building data. Yeah. Lots of it.
We're making them smarter.
And making it smarter. And that's what data scientists, right, are data analytics. But the data scientists, I see those, right, those high-paying jobs, right? So they're saying replacement of jobs, but now they're seeking out MBAs and PhDs that can work with these language models, right, and enhance it and basically continue to teach it. So this technology is moving at supersonic speed. Mm-hmm. So as it collects all the data,
it's Pandora's box. You can't undo it.
That's
how I'm looking at it.
Again, I'm going to say
undo it.
For the geniuses who have created this, they have control, and if they're seeing something get out of control,
they've already had to do this.
Compliance and ethics has to step in, and the reason why is because you just can't let this happen. You have the human race. It could be.
They shouldn't have invented a nuclear bomb, but they did the same damn thing.
Well, that's our curiosity. We cannot. That's the curiosity.
They've already had to put the brakes on this stuff. They asked ChatGPT or one of these large language models to break in and hack a bank and get a bunch of money out.
No.
But there was one thing that it couldn't get past, and it was that you needed to be a human to verify who you were. And guess what it did? It learned that it could use a telephone service online to make a call for them and be somebody.
That's just.
And this is one example of the thousands of examples of what kind of brakes they had to put on.
Again, these folks that are working with it, more power to it. I think they know what they're. Yes, there is an element of fear or unknown. Absolutely, there's an element of unknown here of where are we taking this. But at the end of the day, I will continue to say this. We're the creators. We can unplug it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love it.
You know what a data center is?
Love
it. Justin, a data center, right?
Yeah.
It has to have something plugged. It's got to be plugged
powered.
Right.
It's got to,
So if we're getting out of hand, unplug them.
Right. Well, who's going to do the unplugging?
Well,
It won't be the guy that owns the business.
of course.
It won't
There we
be.
go.
It won't be Musk.
Money. Well,
Oh, wait a minute. He's running the government too, right?
Well, no.
We're up shit's creek.
No, he's involved in.
He's involved with it.
I think I look to touch on Elon Musk, right? So he's one of the originators in this a non-for-profit organization that comes about. Brockman was another one, I think is the name in there, but he's at what he's doing now. Just to touch upon the government stuff, I think he just should have stayed in tech.
Yeah.
Stay in tech. It's always hard to do what he's trying to do. He's doing a service, but at the same time, it's doing a disservice in a lot of ways where he's, personally taking a tax, his organization's taking a tax, he's putting his family. I mean, there's a lot of challenges with doing what he does.
Right.
But I guess he can't help himself, just like some of these tech folks. Their intellect is...
They know how to do it.
They know how to do it. Or what do you say? He's going to take us to Mars like by 2030, 2035 with robots?
Probably with robots, I would imagine.
I mean, with all the AI technology, you probably send... there you go. Why send a human being just in case a life is lost? Let's try sending some robots over there. And
they can start making, the patio and the bar.
I mean, they're already... get built a patio.
I'm not going to Mars unless there's a bar.
A tiki lounge.
A tiki lounge. If there's a tiki lounge on Mars, I'll check it out. I mean, I haven't even been to Hawaii, for God's sakes, let alone Mars.
Well, it's still a lot to explore. The beautiful U.S., right? No, I would say that with the technologies and folks like Elon and Sam Altman and the rest of these engineers that, respectively do their work every day, they're taking us into a whole nother, a new dimension, right?
Yeah, new dimension or...
boldly go or boldly.
I think they're just making us a product.
Boldly going.
That's just my opinion.
Boldly going. Well,
and they own everything. They own all the technologies.
Well, it's they certainly
no,
do.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this AI movement is really interesting, and I use it every day. Like I said, I use it every single day. I think it's fantastic. I love being able to create so quickly, and I love being able to check all my stuff so quickly. I mean, even with helping with my emails, if I like, this is what I want to say, but I don't want to hurt the guy's feelings, or like, how do I do this in a clever way? And it'll help me do that.
Yeah.
And then I'll read it, and okay, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'll even say, why don't you dumb it down so it doesn't sound like like make it sound like me a little bit. So I use it all the time. You just can't help but wonder what's happening and where it's going, and what are some of the breaks we need to consider. Who's going to unplug the machine if we have to?
Unplug it. Remember,
so there's those pieces that we.
Yeah. Well, again, that's what I'd like to
there's
end.
There's a yin and there's a yang.
There's everything. There's everything.
Right.
And this is just like you said. It's so anyone can. That's where I believe it ultimately, and that's what I'm going to say to these folks who continue to create and innovate. Is that we are the creators, we're the innovators. We can unplug this if it gets out of hand. So I don't know how far that'll go in time. We hope, right? We hope, because if you can't unplug it, we've got problems.
So let's, we can wrap it up. And what do we, what should the good people at home expect coming up from us?
Oh,
are we going to keep doing this?
We're gonna go all the way, Justin. We're in the middle of.
Reword that. That sounds weird.
Think about it. The technology is only 10 years in. I'm interested in it. You're interested in it. We both use it. We know folks who use it. We know business people that use it. We know a lot of folks in marketing and are trying it. And there are folks at home that are just using it as a tool.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a tool. At the end of the day, it's a tool that's enhance, create, and, if it can make your life, like an assistant, make your life a little bit more convenient. You could spend more time with family. You could do things more to yourself, be creative more for yourself as a human being. That's wonderful if you can have that time and allow these applications to do the work, but don't allow it to take over your life. That's where I'll end. Well, so a lot to say, a lot to do, and here we go.
So, what is our mission with this podcast? Are we going to tell? Are we?
Our
we want
mission-
more people to feel comfortable using it,
We
like
want
that are our age, or
Look, I think at the end of the day, we're at Gen X, right? So we're the X. I don't know. At least I'll go with the Gen X for myself. I know
sure.
you.
I thought I was like super young or something like that.
I don't know what you are with that whiskered beard of yours. But the thing is that we're using it where it's being we'd like to talk to others about it. We'd like to explore the uses of these applications. We would like to prompt. We'd like to talk to the experts. We'd like to dive into this, and that's the whole idea: is that not to be afraid of it. But the internet, I remember again, it came in, and here it is, and now it's taking us into new dimensions with this artificial intelligence. So, hey, we're here to educate. We're here to entertain. And
is it artificial intelligence or artificially intelligent? AI. Artificial intelligent, artificially intelligent.
It is, but it's artificial at the end of the day, isn't it? Right?
But is it artificially artificial?
You're asking, I don't know.
I think we just broke the model.
I think we just let's prompt that. Now let's keep going. I think the mission here is to have fun with it, and I mean I'm having fun with using it. I think it's a great tool. I do financial models, pro forma based.
I think we should just
really great how it just spits out information quickly.
Oh yeah, but I think we should just designate someone to be the unplugger, like it's Bill, or John. Tim.
Who's going to unplug us?
Well, who's gonna unplug the machine? Like there should just be a guy, like an old guy, like sitting next to the plug, and be like, call him up, like, hey, Bill.
Under dual control.
Yeah, always got two. There's a Bill and Ted.
So, well, look.
Unplug it, Ted.
I think it's some look.
He wakes up.
A giant plug that you plug out of the wall. I think we have to have that If there's anyone out there with compliance and ethics, please include this in your model. You've got to be able to unplug it.
Right? Yeah.
If you cannot control what you create,
it's like the Matrix. You got to pull that.
Yep.
Cable out of your head.
Neo, right? Didn't they pull it out of his and he came back?
Oh, it's out of his mouth. That was effed up.
What?
They've had the plug in his mouth.
Well, I thought it was in the back of his neck.
No, that get into the Matrix, but then to get out, it was like
Oh, well, it was a little uncomfortable for him.
It was slimy and it was gross.
Well, again, are we in the Matrix?
That's very debatable.
The simulation, all these wonderful thoughts that come out. The techie folks coming out with the idea that we're in a simulation and this and that. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm looking at my hands.
Well, I've been
I'm as
imagining them rich. And it's not working.
I know, but someone will tell us that this is not real somehow.
Well, all right. I guess until next time.
All right, folks. Listen, that's the next time. We'll see you soon, and we promise you plenty of content on the way.
We should come up with a cool name like the Jerky Boys, or like the AI jerks.
The X Gens, X.
We need something like cool, like a skateboarder, like
a name.
AI jerks.
And we wear it, or we wear the hats.
And that's like two, you guys, or shit, two dudes of just like.
No, I think it's a great idea. I think we got to come as we continue on. We could come up with themes of who we are. Beavis and Butthead of AI.
Beavis and Butthead
of AI.
All right, that's a wrap.